Moving on to the ESPN Daily. Good morning! You want me to start with the good news or the bad news? Bad it is. We're halfway through 2020 and the first two quarters were abysmal. The good news is that there's plenty of year left to make some adjustments. Yeah, well, people's panic doesn't seem to be letting up. So, that's looking more and more abysmal as well. If the Patriots can come back from down 28-3 in Super Bowl 51 and the Cavs can overcome a 3-1 deficit in the NBA Finals, why not us? Here's your ESPN Daily. Listen up. Keys to the NBA restart. Oh, how about people finding some balls? Digging deep, dragging up their balls, and actually doing their jobs. Huh? How about that? As NBA rosters take shape, the league and its players inch closer to a restart in the clean site of Orlando, Florida. The NBA is addressing players' concerns regarding recent movement against racial and police injustice by painting Black Lives Matter on the courts. Oh. Placation. Appeasement. That's good to see. Appeasement always goes well. And many players are expected to kneel during that, by the way. Appeasement does not always go well. Just look at World War II. Many players are expected to kneel during the national anthem. Oh my goodness. As the league finalizes its coronavirus testing protocol and rules for players participating in the bubble, Pablo Torre joins today's episode of the ESPN Daily Podcast to break down team strengths and the uncertainty around keeping the clean site clean. Then Torre and Mina Kimes share some exciting news about the future of the podcast. Things to care about. Offensive linemen turned barbecue pitmasters. I've lived enough life to know that grilling is tricky business, and grill masters are particular people. I've also been around enough offensive linemen. Shout out to my older brother and O-line nights in my parents' basement. Okay? To know that there is often a correlation between lineman culture, in which there is, as former Cleveland Browns offensive tackle Joe Thomas puts it, a love for good food and love for cooking. As a result, it comes as little surprise to me that many NFL linemen have turned their attention to the grilling game. As soon as I started cooking and actually making good stuff, I fell in love with it, and now my love of cooking and eating are in parallel universes, Thomas said. Former offensive tackle George Foster echoed that sentiment, saying, "It's therapeutic. Nobody bothers you. It's just me, my music, and the grill." As for former New York Jets Pro Bowl center Nick Mangold, he turned his passion for barbecue into a business. Mangold now owns 74 barbecue sauce, that's the name of the sauce, okay, which sells authentic small batch sauces that he makes himself. Last but certainly not least is self-taught grill master Ryan Jensen, who currently plays for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jensen explained, "My love of food began at an early age. I started watching the Food Network at an early age. Used to be my go-to after The Price is Right during the summer." If that isn't relatable, I don't know what is. Linemen, they're just like us. Grading the QB class of 2018. 2018. Do you remember getting progress reports in school? The amount I emphasized or downplayed their importance varied greatly depending on how I fared in the aforementioned reports. If my teacher reviewed me favorably, my parents were sure to be met with a spiel along the lines of, "This is monumental. I am on the fast track to an A and deserve to be rewarded for my unyielding efforts." On the other hand, if my review was subpar, I dismissed and denounced it in record time. I guess what I'm trying to say in a long-winded way is feel free to take these quarterback progress reports whichever way you please. You might like what Bill Barnwell has to say about your guy. Then again, you might not, but at least you can get a sense of where he stands heading into the 2020 season. Without further ado, here are progress reports on the quarterbacks drafted in the first round of the 2018 NFL Draft. Oh, except for Josh Rosen, mad disrespect, and Sam Darnold, since his report doesn't drop until Friday. Okay? Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield. Things to watch. Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest. Cool. Bring on the meat, bring on the buns, and bring on the stomach stretching. It's a thing. Because it's time to lock in on a 4th of July tradition like any other. Unlike any other. An Independence Day tradition, unlike any other. When? Noon Eastern Time, July 4th on ESPN. Where? a private location to meet COVID-19 precautions. Who to watch? Joey Chestnut. He is going for a record 13th title in the men's competition. Who else? Miki Sudo. She's trying for a 7th title in the women's contest. Something to watch to get your mind right for the big event. ESPN's 30 for 30 documentary on Chestnut and his foot-long time rivalry. Oh, you're trying to be clever there? With Takeru Kobayashi. Moore accomplishes goal of justice for Irons. Maya Moore's quest to see Jonathan Irons walk free was realized on Wednesday. Moore, who put her WNBA career with the Minnesota Lynx on hold in 2019 to help Irons fight to have his conviction for burglary and assault overturned, was among those greeting him outside the prison when he was released. Moore dropped to her knees before joining a group hug around Irons. "I feel like I can live life now," Irons said, thanking Moore and her family. "I'm free. I'm blessed. I just want to live my life worthy of God's help and influence." Okay. Overheard. I feel like at the end of the day, this is going to be the toughest championship you could ever win, because the circumstances are really, really tough right now. So whoever wants it more is going to be able to go out there and take it. Giannis Antetokounmpo on if there should be an asterisk next to this year's champion. I think that it depends on your point of view whether you think it's going to be tougher or not. Remember when? Tomorrow marks the 18th anniversary of Like Mike hitting theaters. On July 3rd, 2002, we were introduced to Calvin Bow Wow, an orphan with aspirations of playing in the NBA. Despite having unprecedented amounts of swag, Calvin lacked size and skill on the basketball court, until he stumbled upon a pair of sneakers that had belonged to Michael Jordan, that is. The film taught us an important life lesson, that with kindness, dedication, and magic sneakers, all things are possible. Okay. Until next time, remember, because I can't have you thinking you're getting ghosted by the daily heads up that this is the last you'll hear from me this week, it's not you, it's the holiday. May your 4th of July weekend, may your Independence Day weekend be filled with all the socially distanced fun you can handle. This has been your ESPN Daily for Thursday, July 2nd, 2020. And that's all for Sundry Sports. Thank you and goodbye.